We're going to talk about Jack Grealish then in just a moment, because you just mentioned he's been reported to be on the move then from Aston Villa. But that was our best of the best for this week in association with Adrian Flux. Get a great performance every time from the UK's largest specialist motor insurance broker. Search Flux Car today and join us next weekend for more.
The best of the best on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Get a great performance every time from Watt Van's Van Insurer of the Year 2019. Search Flux Van today.
So, Jack Grealish, a lot has been talked about him in the papers today, and I'm sure we'll talk through it more with Anne-Marie Batson. £100 million bid in for Grealish from Manchester City. Is Jack Grealish someone that Manchester City need?
Well, they always need some of the brightest, most gifted players in the world, yes.
Where would you play Jack Grealish?
On the left. I think that's his best position by quite a distance for me. He has everything. And you might say, well, what happens with Sterling then?
Yeah.
But Sterling was left out at the end of last season. You know, Pep might not have the idea of how, Gareth Southgate thought of Raheem Sterling. He might think, I'm going to, freshen up. Remember, he sold Sane as well in that position a couple of years ago to Bayern. So he might think that position is up for grabs. Even though Raheem done fantastic in the Euros, he might have other ideas at Manchester City that post in that position, he wants it something slightly different. I mean, Pep loves players who can keep the ball. He doesn't want to lose that ball. He wants his team to keep it all the time. And there's no debate. Jack can keep the ball. He can win a lot of free kicks. He can make assists, and he can score. He can chip in with a number of goals. But it's a top quality player. City are now at the stage they're going to be buying the very best. There might be an odd one in now and again they'll be taking a chance with, but it's about buying the best they can now. They've always been big spenders, and I'm afraid to say that it's very hard to see City not getting Kane and Grealish, because they have spent more than 200 million in the summer before. And if they bought both of them and that would go in excess of 200 million, that wouldn't be nothing that they haven't done before.
No, but whoever, listen, Jack Grealish, if they buy him for 100 million, that's a club record. We expect Harry Kane would be more than 100 million, although there may be a player swap involved in that as well. So whatever happens with Grealish or with Kane, if they do get both, one of them will certainly be a club record, that is for sure. And if they do get both, is that job done? Are we all just like, let's just pack up and go home because City have won the league?
No, it's not job done, but it's very hard to make a case that anyone's going to get the better of them. It is. They're a fantastic team as it is, but we see them lose the Champions League to Chelsea. The year before, Liverpool beat them in the Premier League. I think they're the ones to beat, and if they get them two in, it makes them even more dangerous offensively. But it's not guaranteed. No. That's the great thing about sport, is that as well as you can do in the transfer market, certainly in football, and go and buy the very best, it still doesn't guarantee you. What we're seeing is a little bit of a change in shift. If City get these deals over the line, they've gone down the Real Madrid route of sort of Galacticos, the very best players around in them positions, because that's what these two would be. They've not done that before. Like you said, they now would be going to breaking their own records, where they've always kept under the 100 million and at most 70-odd million, which is still, if you put all their amounts together, the players, it's incredible.
It's the accumulation.
Accumulation is enormous,
yeah.
But it is a new direction where they are now going for players, because they're so complete. If you're going to bring a player to come into the first team, it's going to be top draw.
Yeah. It's always been, in recent sort of transfer windows, defensively, Manchester City have always looked to strengthen. They've tried a lot of players out in defence, and maybe now it seems that they've got a sort of settled back four. Maybe they need a left-back option, maybe.
No, I like Zinchenko. I like him. I think he's a terrific player, really, really improved, and probably their most underrated player, in my opinion.
Do you not think they might need a backup, though?
Well, he's got Mendy, but it's very hard to get him out the door because he's on big money and he's not really had a successful time here. But they paid 50 million for him.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a tricky one to get him out the door.
But talking of defence, Manchester United, Rafael Varane, that's all now looking like it's going to go through. Certainly an agreement's been done in principle. It's just the finer details that need to be sorted. And Varane has certainly said goodbye to Real Madrid. They put out quite an emotional video on their Twitter as he sort of made his farewell speech, as we were talking about speeches earlier on. Bringing in Varane, where does that put Manchester United in the title-chasing picture when you also factor in Jadon Sancho in the squad?
Look, Varane 5 years ago was probably the best centre-half in the world, or certainly one of them. His game ratio is not particularly great if you consider he's been at Real Madrid for 10 years. It's nearly 20 games a year, just around. So United would want more than that. I think he's lost half a yard from because he was lightning quick. I saw him at Lens and he was only there. I don't think he made 20-odd games. Early 20 wasn't a lot. And, he stood out blisteringly quick. He's not as quick as that, but he's still only 28. But he's still a very competent player to come into United squad. Hope he doesn't get injured too often. That would be my biggest worry of a United fan, of how much we get him onto the pitch and use him, because I do think there's a real direction of getting pace alongside Harry Maguire. But they've got a great side. United Ollie's done, I think, a really terrific job. He's put together now a very accomplished team, and it's gradually been built to challenge, and they're very close to it. They showed last year in some of they beat City, didn't they, last year, a couple of times. So they're on the right road.
Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is happy. He says they couldn't have done more for me, the board, with the signings that they have made, and we are waiting for that official confirmation that the transfer has gone through on Rafael Varane. But as I say, Manchester United did announce earlier on in the week that they had agreed a deal in principle for Varane to join them.